After 20 or so something hours flying from Vegas to Los Angeles to Honolulu, finally arrived in Nagoya, Japan. My first Japanese tour with Killswitch Engage. I was completely exhausted when we arrived, but my excitement was intact. Driving through the city to our hotel, looking at the sights, seeing another culture completely. I woke up early the next morning wanting to explore. I heard there was a castle not far from where our hotel was. So I started off in Central Park, which is in the center of the city, ironically enough. Felt really fortunate that I got to be there in the time when the cherry blossoms were in bloom. Something I've always seen in old martial arts movies that I love. I felt really fortunate to be able to be there at that time. So I made my way up through Central Park, taking my time, stopping along the way to grab some sushi and some water and some green tea. It's really interesting to go to another city and just watch how people go about their daily lives. A lot of businessmen in this city, a lot of people sort of on a pace, reminded me a lot of New York actually. So I finally arrived at Nagoya Castle, standing outside the large castle walls, again seeing those cherry blossoms everywhere. I was excited to get inside. I didn't do any sort of internet research or whatever to see what it looked like, so I was walking in blind, which is always a fun way to experience things. As I got inside, there were many great sculptures and beautiful plant life. For me, when I travel, one thing I really enjoy about being in a foreign culture, since I'm still fairly new to this, is just seeing how people interact. Everyday people. It was great to see the older generation interacting with a much younger generation. What's great about Japanese culture is they cherish their older generation. A section of the castle showed paintings that were taken out of towers that were destroyed after World War II. As I made my way into the inner walls, got into a big area, the center square, where there was just smells of food, the sound of people's excitement talking, street performers playing. It was just such an interesting atmosphere. It felt like you were stepping back in time. I made my way up into the castle. Started up in the top floor. There's the view of Nagoya from the top. And as I made my way down, on the fourth floor they had a mock village showing the way people used to live in early Japan, 1700s. I've always admired the samurai and the way of life and how they hold honor in such a high place in the culture, which is something we could use in modern times. It was great looking at the old artwork, the old murals, the detail, and just knowing that these are hundreds of years old. There's something so elegant about what would seem to be simplistic in Japanese art. It's just precision, attention to detail, and the space that's left helps you to focus more on what is present. So I made my way back out of the castle, decided to take my time and take in the sights, breathe in the air. I came upon these old tea houses, and they just looked ancient. I tried to imagine what would have been like back then when they were still using them. It was surreal walking around the grounds and being surrounded by those cherry blossoms. I was having a moment where it was like a reality check. I couldn't believe I was so far from home. And it's music that brought me here. And as I was sitting there contemplating, someone called my name. A fan. Somebody actually recognized me all the way over here in Japan. He was very nice. I took my time and spoke with him. He said he was excited to see the show, which made me excited, of course. The more I interact with people who are fans, it really blows my mind that the message isn't lost. What I'm trying to say through my lyrics isn't lost. We have a common thread as humans, and the more I travel, the more I see that. No matter how different our cultures are, there's always something that is the same. It's been a pleasure sharing with you. Thank you for all your comments and for supporting what I do. I got a bullet train to catch to Osaka. Until we meet again, arigato and sayonara.